Hi, so in this video we will understand more about Unix. So the different types of Unix, the different flavors of Unix which we can say. One is Core Unix, the other is Solaris Unix, HP Unix, IBM AX, or any other Unix. So these each versions of Unix, many of these flavors of Unix has got a bit of slight variations in commands. They might have additional commands or tools inbuilt in it because these Unix are proprietary form of Unix. So now let's understand why would a company use Unix. Some of the reasons a company might use Unix are: for one, it provides a good security. Second, it provides stability, good stability. Which means what? Let's say your Unix server, multiple users are connected to this Unix server. As the number of users increases, normally what happens in a Windows PC is that your PC can suddenly shut down, it can get hanged and can reboot. But a Unix machine, such sort of problems arises very less. So for stability, which means your server when it is running like this without hanging, there's a feature called stability, and a Unix machine can give you a good stability. So that's the reason most of the servers are Unix servers. The banks, they don't want your server to be shut down for some small issue or hanged for some small issue. So stability is one thing which a Unix machine provides. Security, of course there are viruses, can be viruses on Unix too, but the number of viruses on Unix are lesser compared to that of Windows, and Unix kernel is itself a bit protective. There are a lot of rights, user rights and all those things, so that way Unix again provides better security. It protects you from viruses and malwares, and they are very difficult to install on Unix. It's not that they are not present, they are present, but they are less. And also because of Unix operating system security, internal kernel, it is able to protect itself from this sort of malwares. Next important advantage of Unix is performance. The performance, suppose if the number of users increases on your server, the server tends to become slower in Windows, but compared to Unix, Unix also gets slower, but compared to Windows it will be a bit lesser. Additionally, there are various tools in Unix which you can use in your package development or your project. Okay, so now let's see another reason why you might use Unix. So what I'm doing now is I have just connected to my Unix putty using putty, and you can see this is a root access. Root access means it's the super user, so I logged in as super user, and what I'm going to do is just going to type this command called pwd. It will show me which directory I am present currently. Okay, so it shows that I am in root directory. Now let me make one folder, make directory, say bitch, and I log into this directory by typing cd bitch. I'm into that folder called bitch. Okay, now if I type pwd, it shows me the directory which I am in, and you can observe that the directory I am in is in root/bitch folder. Now the main thing what I wanted to show was, in Unix there is also a facility of installing things are more easier in Unix using packages. So for example, I want to install a tool called say vmstat. I don't know whether this is installed, so I'll just type commands like yum install vmstat, and then what happens is it looks for whether that plugin is available on the net, and if it is available it will automatically install. So that was not available, so let me try one more, command yum install Firefox. So now you see the Firefox software is automatically getting installed on this computer. Its dependencies are found from the net. It is automatically installed in this computer. So this is one of the other feature of Unix, so through which you can install packages much easily. All you have to do is for say yum install this thing and you will get that feature in your package. Next is who will use Unix? For whom would this lecture be more important? This lecture will be important for database administrators. So database administrator, when they have the Oracle database running on Unix, naturally you should know Unix well. It's only then you can provide optimum service for your databases. So what happens is, as a DBA, you might have certain scripts to run at a particular time. So you might use Unix certain scripts. You might put it in a Unix cron tab, and those scripts will run on a certain time. So you don't need to buy any specific tool. That tool is available already in Unix, and there are various methods and tools to know in Unix itself which user is creating how much problem, what user is creating what problem using Unix. So combination of Unix with an Oracle database is, or any other database, is a very great combination. You have a lot of power doing it. So that's why it becomes imperative for a DBA to know Unix. Okay, and that's what we are going to be aware of, getting aware of. Okay, second important profession which would require to know more about Unix is data architect. Now data architect, or even if you are learning machine language, knowing Unix will help you a lot. What happens is, as a data architect, you might have some data in certain format, okay, and you want this data to be converted according to certain situations. So Unix has got various internal scripts like sed, awk, etc. These scriptings can be used to change the contents of the data before you loading the data into the database. So that is where again you will use Unix. So for example, let's say you are just a programmer. Even a programmer will find importance of Unix. For example, you are a website designer and you have made multiple pages with a particular name. Let's say the name is thanks. Okay, now the noun uses thanks, and you want to say change the word thanks to thank you in all the 100 pages within 1 second. So instead of you going to every file and changing it, what you're going to do is use Unix commands, and within 1 second, by the firing of that command, all the files, suppose there were thousands of files, and wherever the word thanks was present, it would be replaced to thank you. So these things, sort of powerful facilities, are available in Unix, and this is what we are going to see in this session. Okay, so let's see some Unix commands, understand some Unix commands. So first Unix command to understand is vmstat. Let's understand what is vmstat. What is vmstat doing? Okay, so suppose you are a database administrator or a system administrator, and you want to know the status of your server, how is it performing. So what you can do is you can use this command, say vmstat for collect data for 3 seconds and show me the data for 5 times. So what I have done is I fired this command, and for every 3 seconds it will collect the data about the memory, the swap situation, the input output, and etc. So what happens is, by seeing this data, you know how much of what is being consumed, how much memory is being consumed, how much input output activity is happening on your main server, main CPU. So by this command will be used during capacity planning. So what it did was, it ran the command 5 times for every 3 seconds. So it's collecting the data what is happening in every 3 seconds and running it 5 times and showing you the output. From this you can understand immediately what is happening in the server, what process is taking the load, what time the load is taking place. Okay, so this was a beautiful command called vmstat. So let's see the another command that is called iostat. Iostat, this is another tool through which you can know the input output activity. So if you can see a lot of input activity happening on your hard disk, which means there appears to be some problem. So what you will do is, as a system administrator, you would like the input activity to happen lesser, or you can identify where, in which disk there is contention. When there is contention on the disk, your objective is to reduce the contention. Okay, so let's see this again. Iostat fire for every 3 seconds and 3 minutes. So okay, this command is not there here. So what I will do is yum install iostat. Okay, there's no such tool. This is a command like that, iostat, but it's available in certain different brand of Unix. So it's not available in CentOS. So the Unix I am using currently is CentOS, and see, you can just see this. This is how I listed, and so this was iostat command which I had used. Next is what we'll do is we'll see these commands like ls, cat, and vi editor and tail. Okay, so what I've done is, let's see in which folder I am. I'm in root/bitch folder. I'll create a file, say vi test.txt. Okay, so I just created by using the command vi test.txt. Now I am in an editor. This is called a vi editor. Okay, now if I type escape I, you see this is an insert mode. You see here below, this is the insert mode. Here, once when I bring it in insert mode, I can type something here. Echo hello, how are you? Echo this is great test. Okay, and then I just bring in, save this data, and type cat test.txt. You can see, I can see the data here. Okay, so I say chmod 777 test.txt sh test.txt. Okay, so I can see the data out here. So this, if I want to see the files present in this folder, I'll just fire the command ls-l, and I can see the files created. So you can see here it is having a read, write, execute permission. That's it for now. We'll be seeing further.